You ever get a check for $15,000 when you were supposed to get over $1 million, handed to you by your own flesh and blood who sold your house behind your back? That's exactly what happened to me. My son, Daniel, who I had raised alone since he was 10, whom I had supported through a disastrous first business and countless poor life choices, sold my family home. The beautiful, sprawling Victorian I had owned for 30 years, the one he grew up in, for $1, $2 million without my knowledge or consent. He did it in a bizarre, frantic scheme involving power of attorney documents I vaguely remembered signing years ago for a minor medical procedure. The house sale closed in secret. I found out when the new owners showed up with a moving truck, and Daniel arrived shortly after, not to console me, but to hand me a paltry check for $15,000 with a sickeningly sweet smile. I took care of everything, Dad. He told me, I kept you a small piece so you can find a nice little retirement studio. The rest is going into my new, big investment opportunity. He thought he had pulled off the perfect, easy heist against his old, trusting father. What he didn't know, what he couldn't have possibly known, was the devastating financial secret my house held. That Victorian wasn't just a house. It was the seat of a far greater, silent empire. My wife, before she passed, had structured our true wealth, a portfolio of commercial properties and tech investments worth $30 million into a complex, irrevocable trust tied specifically to the house's deed. When the house was sold, it didn't just disappear. It triggered a financial cascade, automatically transferring the entire $30 million portfolio out of Daniel's future inheritance stream and into a contingency account controlled solely by my lawyer and me. Daniel threw away his entire birthright, a fortune of $30 million, for a mere $2 million, and then tried to rob me of the paltry proceeds. The question wasn't if I should take my revenge, but whether I should use my overwhelming, newfound, absolute control over the $30 million to not just recoup my losses, but to systematically dismantle Daniel's entire life, ensuring he understood the true, crushing cost of his betrayal. Was I wrong to use $30 million to deliver a chilling, permanent lesson in consequence? Tell me if you would have done the same thing. To fully grasp the setup, you need the history of our family and the genius of my late wife, Claire. Claire and I had a beautiful, challenging life. I was an engineer, methodical and practical. Claire was the visionary. She started early, quietly investing in properties and niche tech companies long before they exploded. She never wanted the spotlight. She preferred security and stability. She structured our estate years ago, long before she became ill, with one goal: to protect our future and, crucially, to protect Daniel from himself. Daniel was always charming, but entitled. He believed success was something you talked your way into, not worked toward. When he was young, we overlooked it. As he grew, his entitlement metastasized into outright arrogance and financial recklessness. He constantly started revolutionary businesses, a bespoke dog walking app, a luxury coffee delivery service that all crashed and burned, leaving me to bail him out financially and emotionally time and time again. Claire, bless her soul, saw the disaster coming. She loved Daniel, but she saw the greed in his eyes, especially when he looked at the house. The house, that Victorian on Maple Street, was the key. It was a beautiful, 4-bedroom home, completely paid off. Claire insisted on making the deed the symbolic cornerstone of our estate. She set up the Hayes Family Irrevocable Trust the $30 million portfolio, with a primary, unchangeable clause. The trust's ultimate beneficiary was Daniel, but the entire portfolio was legally and inextricably linked to the primary residence deed As long as I, the surviving spouse, held the deed, the trust remained intact, managed for my comfort and Daniel's future. The contingency was simple, ironclad, and brilliant. If the primary residence was ever sold or transferred out of my name by any party other than me, or if I were ever evicted, the entire trust would immediately liquidate and transfer all assets to a separate, charitable foundation account, which I, as the designated executor, would then have sole discretion over. Claire knew Daniel was capable of manipulation, but she also knew he was lazy. She figured he would wait until I passed away to claim the estate and the house. She never imagined he'd try to steal the house while I was still alive, thinking it was the entire fortune. The moment the opportunity presented itself was grim. 6 months ago, I had a minor, unexpected surgery. Daniel, playing the concerned son, insisted I sign a stack of emergency documents, claiming they granted him temporary power of attorney for medical decisions only. I was groggy, trusting, and I signed. That temporary POA was the loophole Daniel used. He forged additional documents, secured a hard money loan using the house as collateral, and initiated a private, non-MLS sale to a developer who wanted the land. He pulled off the entire transaction in a matter of weeks, exploiting a system built for speed, not moral oversight. He never told me, not a word. The shock of finding out was physical. I was weeding my roses, my favorite pastime, when a massive U-Haul truck and a strange couple pulled up. The man, a rough-looking developer, walked up the path and said, "Sir, you need to clear your things. The closing went through this morning. We own the place now." My blood went cold. I called Daniel immediately. He didn't answer. 30 minutes later, he showed up, not with an apology, but with that sickeningly calm, triumphant demeanor. He held a thin, business-sized envelope. "Dad, listen, I know you're upset," he said, avoiding my eyes. "But this house was just dead capital. I sold it for $1, $2 million *. It's done. I've accounted for all your sentimental costs and your moving expenses. Here." He handed me the check. $15,000. The rest is going straight into my new venture. It's going to be huge, Dad, trust me. This way, I secure our future faster. The arrogance was breathtaking. He had stolen $2 million, skimmed off 99%, and offered me a pittance for my life's anchor, thinking he was being generous. He truly believed he had secured his future. Instead, he had just triggered the $30 million trigger **. I didn't yell, I didn't cry. I looked him in the eye and said, "You sold the house, Daniel. You triggered the trust." He just laughed. "What trust, Dad? The house was the trust. I sold it. It's gone. Don't be dramatic." That was the moment I realized the depth of his ignorance. He had been so focused on the $2 million prize that he had completely missed the $30 million sword hanging over his head. I immediately called my lawyer, Ms. Hayes. Her response was calm. The contingency was activated at 11:30 a.m. upon the deed transfer. The $30 million is secure, Mr. Thorne. It is now entirely in the Claire Thorne Memorial Fund and you hold the sole key. The house was gone, but the immense crushing power of $30 million was now entirely mine, legally, morally, and irrefutably. Daniel, my only son, had just voluntarily forfeited his entire inheritance for a short-term, easily squandered $2 million. My lawyer confirmed that legally I owed him nothing, not even the $15,000. That check, that meager $15,000, was the full measure of his greed and the ultimate symbol of his foolishness. So that's the situation I was in. I had $30 million in liquidity, full legal control, and the bitter knowledge that my son had orchestrated the complete destruction of my stability for his selfish gain. I could have quietly moved to a beautiful retirement community, lived in luxury, and just sent the lawyers after him to recover the $2 million, which would have been the clean, simple choice. Or I could use my immense fortune to ensure that Daniel's new, big investment opportunity, the one he stole my house to finance, failed in the most public, spectacular, and irreparable way possible. I wanted him to understand that the consequence of betrayal is not just losing money, but losing his entire financial future. Before I tell you the cold, methodical way I delivered my final verdict, a verdict based on the principles of stability and consequence my wife valued, I want you to pause and comment below what you would have done in my shoes. Would you have quietly walked away with your $30 million, refusing to be petty? Or would you have used the fortune to orchestrate his total and catastrophic financial ruin? Seriously, let me know what choice you would have made right there. I chose the orchestrated, total ruin. Claire's legacy demanded it. Daniel's entitlement had to be corrected, not just with a loss, but with a life-altering lesson. I focused all my resources and the power of the $30 million on his new, big investment opportunity. It was, predictably, a convoluted tech startup trying to develop a niche social media platform, requiring millions in seed funding. Daniel, using the $2 million he skimmed, was holding his first major seed round presentation in 3 weeks to secure the remaining $5 million he needed to launch. I told him, "Here's my plan. We don't sue him. We crush him financially and publicly. We make the cost of stealing the house exactly equal to the loss of his entire future." My team executed a meticulous multi-pronged attack. First, we didn't just invest in his startup. We preemptively invested in 3 of his closest, most viable competitors using shell companies funded by the Claire Thorne Memorial Fund ***. This wasn't just hedging. It was cornering the market and driving down the value of his entire niche before he could even present. Second, and most crucial, we used our vast commercial property network to identify the small, boutique office building where Daniel was setting up his company. He was leasing a floor. My team anonymously purchased the entire building through a different shell corporation. Again, Daniel had no idea his landlord had changed. The climax was delivered on the day of his crucial seed round presentation. Daniel was in a large conference room he had rented, surrounded by potential investors, all the major players in the local tech scene. He was mid-pitch, standing next to a huge projected slide showcasing his brilliant financial projections, the ones based on the $2 million stolen capital. Just as he reached the key slide, 2 things happened simultaneously. First, his laptop suddenly went dark. The conference room lights went out, plunging the room into uncomfortable darkness. A few seconds later, the emergency lights flickered on, revealing a very professional, very stern looking property manager standing by the door. "Excuse me, gentlemen," the manager announced clearly to the stunned investors. "I apologize for the interruption. We are required to inform all tenants and visitors that the building has new ownership, and unfortunately, the tenant on this floor has multiple unresolved breaches of contract, including a failure to disclose the use of stolen funds in the initial lease application. We have been instructed to terminate the lease immediately and secure the premises." The shock on Daniel's face was total. He stammered, "This is impossible. Who is the owner? This is sabotage." That's when Ms. Hayes walked into the room, impeccably dressed and radiating cold, professional authority. She carried a single, leather-bound folder. She looked directly at Daniel, ignoring the investors. "I am here on behalf of the new building owner, the *** Claire Thorne Memorial Fund, ***." She stated, her voice echoing in the silent, emergency-lit room. She then turned to the investors. "Gentlemen, I advise you to review the prospectus of this venture carefully. Mr. Thorne financed his initial seed money by fraudulently selling his father's primary residence, a matter which is now subject to a formal, massive civil claim. Furthermore, as the sole custodian of the $30 million trust he forfeited, I can assure you that our fund will use its superior capital and resources to ensure the immediate, complete success of his competitors." She then walked up to Daniel, whose face had gone pale and sickly, and handed him a single document. It wasn't a lawsuit. It was a simple one-page letter. "Your father's only statement to you, Daniel, is this: the house was the key. You chose the lock and destroyed the key. The $30 million was the inheritance. You sold your soul for $2 million and gave me only $15,000. You failed the test." The investors, facing massive liability and realizing the entire venture was built on fraud and was about to be obliterated by a $30 million fund with a vendetta, immediately packed their bags and fled the room. Daniel's business was dead right there, in front of his peers, murdered by his own father using the very fortune Daniel thought he could steal. The aftermath was absolute. The developer who bought the house was sued by us for negligence and collusion, and while we recovered the full value of the house, the emotional damage was done. Daniel faced no criminal charges. I didn't want him in jail. I wanted him to suffer the consequences of his financial incompetence. But his professional reputation was utterly destroyed. No one in the local tech or investment community would touch him. He tried to sue me, claiming coercion and undue influence over the trust, but Claire's legal work was flawless. His claim was dismissed as vexatious and meritless, and he was ordered to pay my legal fees, which, thanks to my team, were astronomical. He was left with nothing but the rapidly diminishing proceeds of the $2 million house sale, which was quickly eaten up by initial legal fees, his own debts, and the failure of his business. The $15,000 check, I had it framed. I sold the recovered Victorian house and rolled the entire $2 million back into the ** Claire Thorne Memorial Fund **. We now use the $30 million fund to finance promising young engineers and entrepreneurs from underprivileged backgrounds, students who value work ethic and character over entitlement. I bought a lovely, manageable home in a different neighborhood, started teaching part-time, and live a life of comfort and quiet purpose. Daniel and I have zero contact. He is, last I heard, working minimum wage jobs, constantly complaining that his billion-dollar idea was stolen by his father's petty jealousy. He never understood, and never will, that he lost $30 million not because of my revenge, but because of his own catastrophic moral failure and breathtaking greed. The guilt is non-existent. The peace is absolute. I survived the betrayal and thrived by honoring my wife's intention to let character be the ultimate arbiter of wealth. The greatest victory was not the money, but the validation that my wife's test worked. I look back now and know I made the right choice. My public financial takedown wasn't about spite. It was about delivering an unforgettable lesson on the true cost of filial betrayal. Like this video if you think the father delivered the perfect, justified financial karma. Subscribe for more stories about secret trusts and spectacular revenge. And please, share your final thoughts on this whole mess in the comments section below. Do you think I should have allowed him a small amount of money for basic living, or was the complete public ruse in the only way to truly prove the point? I'll see you all in the next story.